As news of a new kid spreads throughout the land, in order to save the humans, the Grand Wizard must get to the new kid.
Hey, what's up guys, welcome back to another South Park furniture video, and today is going to be the last day of pretty much news, because that's what I've done for the past week. Pretty much, there's so much stuff going on in the game right now, and that's why I wanted to cover it, and this will be the last video. So there's some stuff to go through before tomorrow, but if you're watching this in the future, you already know what's happened, so I mean, there's no point watching this video, but you know, whatever. This is pretty much what's going on right now. So we know there is 8 new cards coming. 8 new superheroes, so bear in mind there's 2 being spells, which is a trap card and 1 spell. So the 8 characters so far being confirmed was Mysterion for the legendary, Kuhn, Toolshed, Human Kite, and Fast Pass as the epics. Then we know the trap is the rare, and then we know Tupperware and the spell, so super fart is the common. We know Call Girl is coming to the game because she is in the loading screen of the actual of the new game, which you can't see if you load up now, but it was leaked. And you know, some in-games, if you watch my last video you can see it, some like in-game footage sort of was kind of leaked for like adverts and stuff like that. But it looks like they've done it again, and there was a theory, and it looks like they're doing the exact same thing here, which I'll explain. So if you look at Adventure, the leader of Adventure, even though it's not a legendary, it doesn't have to be legendary, but the leader of Adventure was Stan, whose Stan's color is blue. Then you had Sci-Fi, which was Kenny, and then which is orange. Then Kyle is green, which he was the leader of Mystical, and then the leader of Fantasy was Cartman, which is red. So people thought that Call Girl was gonna be the leader because it's pink. You know, the actual like card art is pink. So it looks like they're doing that. So if you look over to the screen now, you can see a leak of like of what the packs are gonna look like. So you know, I'll throw up on the screen now of what the other ones look like. So you can see Cartman, you can see Kyle, you can see Kenny. The leader of the pack is the theme of like the actual like the character art. So that's what she's gonna do, and that looks like to be her art as well, which actually does look pretty sick. But that raises some questions: is she gonna be a legendary? It doesn't confirm her to be the legendary, and then this moves on to our next point, which is the title pretty much. If there's going to be another legendary, it has to be Professor Chaos, because people, and especially myself, thought that if there's going to be legendaries in the new superhero theme, it would either be, well, it would have to be out of 3. It will be Mysterion, because he has to come back to life. So that ability in itself is a legendary ability. So, you know, he has to be a legendary. Professor Chaos, just because he hasn't got a legendary, a lot of the main cast already, like Kyle, Kenny, Stan, Token, Bebe, they all have legendaries, but Butters doesn't. And if you were to give a legendary to Butters, it would be Professor Chaos, so that's one thing too. And also Mintberry Crunch, you know, pretty much the, other than Kenny, the only actual superhero in the actual like the cast, so he should be a legendary. Although I do see him coming down later on the line. Almost every theme apart from Sci-Fi doesn't have a legendary, and Sci-Fi will end up getting a legendary in the future. But until then, I do think we will see Mintberry Crunch either as an epic or legendary. So we won't see Mintberry Crunch for a decent bit, because we still have to get through the main cast of heroes. And yeah, so next, Zargo, another content creator who does South Park content and is a part of the private Discord. So he does have the scoop of what's to come. And Twixbun on the Discord tweeted or posted saying, "Has anyone talked about this?" Buck pretty much confirmed that the free legendary that I talked about in my last video won't be a timed event. So that means the weekend, which I assumed of the release of the theme, would be a weekend where you can, if you complete it, you'll get a free legendary. I assumed it will be Mysterion. So it looks like it's not of that. It's actually if you complete story mode. I hope it's if you just complete it once, because I don't really want to play it 15 times to get the legendary, because I probably could do it. I think I've done it for almost every single mission apart from the last one on PvE. So let's just say if you complete it the first time, you get a free legendary, which will be cool. So anyone can do this. If you're not up to bat on your PvE, you know, finish it and you'll get a free legendary. Or but it looks like to be a guaranteed card rather than it being random. So I'll move on to the next point, which was Zargo said, what a curve height boy would be if the free legendary was completely hidden, unannounced card out of the blue. So that means it's not Mysterion, because technically Mysterion has been announced. However, Kogo hasn't been announced. She's technically been leaked, but she hasn't been teased, if that makes sense. Because Mysterion has been teased, and I don't know if he means that, but then someone else responded saying an 11th hidden card from the launch. That'd be pretty cool, and he replied with indeed. So it does look like it's going to be one extra card, which would make sense, because Kogo is a part of the 8 cards already. So I don't want to get people's hopes up, but there is a little bit of hope, because then It's Just Buck chimes in and says, play story next week and see for yourself. Next week meaning Monday. And he puts a little butters icon. I mean, that's I mean, it's pretty solid proof that Professor Choas is coming. Everyone wanted this, so if they didn't, people like, I think someone's called Professor Choas or we riot on Discord. So if people do want Professor Choas to be a legendary, so it looks like to be Professor Choas will be the one you get for free if you complete PvE, which does make sense, because if they are doing more PvE content, so it does make sense at the end to first define a boss and for you to get a free legendary, which will be when you defeat Professor Choas probably. Now I'm curious on what he can be, because if you don't know, well I'm sure you do, he has that anime form, or like the, you know, when he goes proper huge and like turns into that like anime pretty much character from the Let's Go Fighting episode, I think it's called. And I hope at least that the actual Professor Choas is gonna have an ability related to that. So obviously we all know that assassins have death wishes, which means when they die they do some sort of ability. And I think it's pretty much almost obvious that Mysterion Kenny is gonna end up dying and then come back to life later on, which would be pretty OP if you think about it, because say if you spawn Mysterion down, when he dies, whatever killed him should have ran past. That means Mysterion will get back up uncontested and then run towards the new kid. So that pretty much just means they have to spawn 2 cards down to kill Mysterion. And if it does end up taking a bar and dying next to the actual new kid from the explosion, he would just spawn back in and do some more damage. Obviously it'll be limited to probably like 1 death, and then that'll be it. And then Professor Choas, I do hope he has something to do with the anime form, or the big giant version of himself. So I just make a prediction. If you are watching this tomorrow or any other future past, you already know who he does. But my guess is that when he dies, he will spawn into that Professor Choas form of the giant version and just do some crazy damage for 10 seconds, or like 5 seconds, and just pretty much be a tank for a bit. So that would be pretty cool. In practice, I don't see it working very well, but I guess they can do it. I'm just thinking on the top of my head right now. So that pretty much covers everything that we know so far. Koga will be the leader of the theme, similar to how Cartman, Cow, Kenny, and Stan were. Professor Choas is likely to be looking like the free legendary you get for completing PvE. Pretty much also confirmed that Professor Choas is coming to the game and is a legendary card, so we're going to get 2 legendaries, which I thought was going to happen in the first place, because, you know, if you're opening legendaries for the new theme and you always get Mysterion, you'll be able to get Mysterion pretty quick to level 3. But with 2 legendaries, you know, there's some sort of balance and you won't get an OP card straight away. So that's pretty much it. There's around 22 hours to go before the new theme comes out. So if you're watching this on the day of, or the day before the theme comes out, let me know in the comments below what you think Professor Choas will do, because he could do anything really. I just hope it's good, and it is a legendary, so it's got to be something pretty crazy. And yeah, so I want to quickly wrap up by saying tomorrow I will be trying to stream. I'm going to try and get things set up today. I think it's working. I've been saying in the past couple of videos that I'm going to be planning to do it. I think, because I've been waking up quite early, so I will be awake when the theme goes live. So that'll be around 1 PM my time, or BST. So I think that's when I'll start streaming, because I kind of want to get on the game quick and record all my stuff. And then an hour later, literally after the theme comes out, the devs will be doing their stream, and I'll probably be watching that. And then, if I have time, I guess I can stream PvE, depending on how things goes. But yeah, that's pretty much all for today, guys. If you did enjoy the video, please hit the like button and subscribe. It's going to be a crazy day tomorrow, and I hope everyone goes well in the pack openings to get the legendary. So thank you guys for watching, and peace.